Good morning. Happy Cinco de Mayo. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. But I like Happy May 4th Day better because I'm a geek. But we're here. It's, I think, Tuesday, it's May 5th. Happy birthday to my brother Andrew as well. I have zero co-host on. It's just me today. I have no idea where everybody is. They're just missing in action. You got Todd Buffoni, you got Gross over at the SIDC. They ended 5-10 minutes ago. I don't know why they can't come over, but whatever. But I have one of our old marketing geeks here who wants to talk to us. Nick's here, so we're gonna bring him in just a second. Christina, no idea where she is. Probably doing makeup somewhere. Massimo, no clue where he is. He's probably stocking eggs, stocking milk at Country Donuts, Montalbano's. I don't know. No one's here with me, so let's just bring Nick Reagan.
Hey, Mike. Nick? How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Doing good. Happy I can fill in this morning. Hopefully Christina's on soon.
Why, you looking to get off already?
No, I saw she messaged in the Slack that she'll be on soon.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
I like how you're still on the side. Look at this.
This is why you need me on the Slack.
You could just be on. You could just be like my assistant to read Slack messages because I'm the worst. Like all day, I just see like my guys, Mike. And I'm like, I'm live on shows, guys. You gotta give me a couple of minutes.
This is a meeting. Okay, I can't check the Slack.
Look at my calendar. Mike is busy. He has live shows all day, every day.
There's about maybe an hour or two where you can message Mike, and I'll get back to you.
Oh, look who's here. Hope Nick Couteau. She says,
hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Hope. I hear you guys are having a disgusting dinner today. Moe's. That's pretty nasty. They are really like the worst. Moe's is probably like my least favorite Mexican fast food. Is that bad?
For me, my personal favorite is Jose. I'm sure that goes for a lot of people.
What, Jose Tejas?
Yeah.
Are they doing curbside?
So Liz told me recently that they do pickup. Like you have to go in and pick it up. So there's no delivery at all.
They don't like. I'm surprised because they used to not do takeout. So we were there one day for dinner, and it was four of us, and my friend's girlfriend was like, "I'm not hungry. I just want to order something to go." They're like, "Oh, we don't do to go order." She's
That's
like,
very
"Well,
strange."
And we're like, "We're here." She's like, "Well, you could order it. I'll put it down on the table, and then you could say you don't want it, and we'll pack it up." So she's like, "Okay, you can't just put it in the container first. No, it has to touch the table first." We're like, "Okay." So
I'm just following orders, ma'am.
So crazy. Like so she literally had to order it. They put it down. As they put it down, she goes, "Yeah, okay, packed it up to go. I'm not really hungry anymore."
It's so silly.
It's so silly. Like, how do you not do takeout and delivery? Like you're busy, but great. You're so busy and everyone waits online. Isn't that a great way to just cook and get people in and out? I would imagine, unless they don't have this space for it in the kitchen. I guess. I don't know.
I guess I understand delivery, but if someone's like, "Hey, I'm leaving. Can I get this?" Just put it in a bin. I don't see the issue there.
Right. It's silly. I had Chipotle on, I think, Sunday. Wasn't as good.
Chipotle is no longer my friends. My body can no longer handle it, unfortunately. The last 3 times I've had it hasn't ended well. So
this is only on breakfast.
Officially,
you find out that
officially we're done.
I really wanted Qdoba, but when I went to go do Qdoba, you can't figure out what ingredients you want inside. So it was just like a chicken burrito and that's it. I wanted the peppers, the queso dip. On Chipotle on DoorDash, you can actually select what you want, like guacamole and stuff. That's why I went. It really wasn't the best. Look, one of our co-hosts joined. Give us 1 second. Oh, we're getting a whole bunch of them. Let's first bring on Mr. Massimo Dodana.
What's up, guys?
Good morning.
How's it going, Mas?
Good morning. Hey, Nick. How are you, buddy?
Doing good.
Right, let's bring Todd in. He just showed up.
Nick Couteau in the house.
These are some very intense intros. I wasn't expecting them.
All that means is Nick no longer watches our shows. He left us and he's like completely deserted.
Usually I sleep now.
Do you?
Yes.
What is your sleeping habits now?
Obviously worse than when I was working, but I'm trying to wake up about 11 o'clock every day.
11 o'clock. Moss, can you imagine sleeping to 11 o'clock?
I was up at 4:45 today.
What time did you go to bed last night?
11 o'clock, 11:30. I think I dozed off on the couch about 11:30. And then I got up about 1, went up.
I think I went to bed around 1:30. I've been definitely going to bed later, but I worked on something big that I will premiere. I guess that we'll use that word since I can pronounce it. We'll premiere on Midday with Moss.
Awesome. I'm excited. Today we got a good guest. I believe just Gerald is coming on.
Junior?
Gerald Jr. is coming on. I don't know if his brother Peter is. Big Jerry is not.
Big Jerry is not. He does not know how to use a computer.
No, I with his mother passing a few weeks ago, it's discussing Mother's Day is just a little too close to home. And I was actually, I'm actually disappointed that someone I respect and trust as much as Jerry, that I didn't pick up on that when I invited him to come on the show and do a Mother's Day special. Kind of like I wasn't thinking.
Right. Now you said that we just took this talk. All right, maybe we should cancel. They're no longer invited today. So, yeah, look, this is the busiest day of right? Mother's Day is probably the busiest time of year for a jeweler, right?
Yeah, it is. So that's why when I was looking at guests for the week, I thought of them. Obviously Jerry being a mentor of mine, and I just I figured, to help him out. I know I got a couple. What made really thought I got I got an email about virtual shopping. That they were offering something, and I said, and I looked at my schedule and I saw I had no guests, so I said, you know what? And they were one of the first people I reached out to. Like, they kind of, they led the horse to the river and I drank it.
Right. Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
On or off? I'm trying to do your thing here.
Moss, good morning, by the way.
Hey, good morning, Todd.
How you doing, buddy?
Does that add some depth? I put it behind me.
What's that?
The light.
Oh, I think you have a little bit of the halo effect. I think. Where'd you put it?
Right over. Oh, hold on. Then over there.
Oh, okay. It may not be powerful enough to hit the back of your dome.
Well, I could put it. The more powerful I put it, you see. Like, look at that. Look in that.
Oh yeah, look at that little bright little thing you got going on there.
So that's why.
Okay.
I think
You
I might
should put it on the back of your chair.
Oh, just behind. Yeah. So we got like professional lighting going on here.
No, I like what you set up. It looks really good. No, you're fine as is. I was saying if you're going to really make yourself a little studio, that's the only thing you can add. Other than that, everything looks really sharp. You're very well lit. You look better than I am.
Nick? So we're talking about our little studio. We're talking about my little intros. Obviously, Nick started Breakfast with Bloomy with us. He was one of the pioneers. Nick actually and Christina held fort that day. I thought I was dying, which may have been coronavirus. I think I did like a check-in for like 2 minutes that day, right?
Yeah, we're like, is everything okay? All right, going back to sleep.
I'm going back to bed. But then, Nick is in school to become a teacher. And we were talking with, looks like next year you would graduate, right, Nick? We were saying?
Yeah, probably fall 2021, possibly spring 2022.
Right. I'm assuming you want to hope for fall.
Yes.
I hated school so much. You enjoy school, right?
I do enjoy school, but the move to online classes certainly put a damper on it a little bit. I had a month or two of actual classes. I was getting back into the routine. I was last in school like 2018, so I was getting into the routine, and then the move to online classes, all of my cool projects, like I was starting the shadow at Curtis High School. I got 1 or 2 classes in. It was kind of fun, just seeing how, being in that environment, that sort of environment. Again, it's been a while. So yeah, I got 1 or 2 of those in, and then all of a sudden, everything was canceled. So that's been changed to Blackboard projects. Like one of the projects I have now is to write a COVID-19 diary every week and just post on there. So it's sort of, not as engaging, not as, fun as doing like the actual field work.
Right. You were enjoying going to school and it's like, it's tough, right? How do you learn how to be a teacher if you can't go and experience being a teacher? Mm-hmm. And yes, virtual right now is teaching, but it's not the same, and that's not going to be forever. But this definitely will make changes. And Moss and I we've talked about this on the show. There's no longer going to be a such thing as a snow day, right? The snow day will always just switch to virtual.
Good point.
Right. I guess
And it's going to be a quick switch.
And right, the problem though is how do you do that in like low income areas where maybe not everyone has a tablet? Is it going to be standard now for schools to issue out Chromebooks, and is that going to be in the budget?
You're right. I mean, you have to. I mean, equal opportunity for all, right? I mean, that's the no child left behind kind of idea of no matter what, everyone should have an equal shot at proper education. And if that includes a Chromebook or some sort of electronic device for those who are underprivileged and can't afford it, specifically during snow days and whatnot, which will happen again. This was a very mild winter, by the way.
Right. No
one talks about that.
Super mild winter. I think we had one snow, if not, but it wasn't a snow day. It was like nothing.
No, we had a couple of inches here and there. There was no bad days per se. I want to say that the sanitation workers must be going nuts. They didn't get their normal overtime. I know a bunch of my friends in sanitation. It's just like what the hell happened to the snow this year? And our reservoirs must be full. I always question that. Is that weird? I feel like that's a geeky thing you might appreciate, Mike.
That where the reservoirs are. I'm sure
is that weird, Nick? Is that a weird thing to think about?
Yeah,
I usually don't think about our supply of water. Maybe that's a good thing. I take it for granted.
I'm just curious because it's okay. So it didn't snow, so that's not obviously that's not helping. But it's rained so much. You know what I mean? So it's got our reservoirs have to be beyond full and at capacity, right?
Good news for you, geek boy.
Nice.
So you could New York City DP. You could actually see the capacity, and everything is above 100%, except the round out reservoir is only 96% capacity, and Croton is 99. Wow. Pretty crazy that you can actually go and look up the reservoir.
I honestly, you know what? That's lazy on me. I hate doing stupid shit. Like I should have looked it up.
Well, as soon as you said it, I was like, oh, I'm sure you could do it. My stepbrother Victor, who used to watch, I think he still watches. He might not comment. He works for the DEP, and he's one of the engineers for the water system. Or he used to be. Now he actually does for the DEP. He's in charge of all the alarms. So all these reservoirs, all the sub pump, the stations, everything, they're all alarmed, security cameras. He's responsible for that whole division. But he used to be an engineer for the water plants, and he worked underground in Yonkers. They have a facility that I think is 20 stories underground.
Wow. What was it? The 2nd Avenue subway. Speaking of underground, the 2nd Avenue subway is going to be ready sooner.
Oh, at the L train.
Yeah,
like opened last week. Yep.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah,
that was cool to watch that get built while it was getting built. Nick talking about history. Like I love the history of my father, by the way, big history buff, right? Because you're history, right, Nick?
Yes.
Yeah.
My father's actually reading history textbooks from school right now, from like schools and whatnot right now. He loves history. I always loved the history of downtown Manhattan. And what it was before, and how all the landfill that was used, how all the subways were done. So I just think it's cool to be living history as a brand new subway system is being built, and it was good to hear that it was actually done earlier.
And how they did it without closing, because originally the engineers wanted to close it for a year and a half.
Yeah,
and Cuomo said no, we need to find a way to do this without closing it. And brought in engineers from around the world, and they found a way to do it without closing the system, and they did it 6 months earlier.
Yeah, well, which is great, which is cool. Nick, what history is your? Are you American history, global history, specific civilization history, or local history? What's kind of your thing, Nick?
I would say like my personal favorite points of history, definitely 20th century. That's relatively recent history, and it really does. What happened then influences what we're doing now. Specifically, World War II. I think I've spent the most time learning about that. It's really anything sort of 17th century onwards, mainly European history. American history, if I'll be honest, I'm not the greatest. I'm pretty good at it, but it's not my favorite learning point. mostly because when you start talking about American history with other people, it sort of becomes like we're all Americans, so everyone has their own interpretation of history. Just looking at the Civil War, for example, was it states' rights or was it about slavery? So that can jump off on a whole debate. So I like focusing on maybe points of history that maybe not everyone is aware of. So especially European history, East Asian history, Indian history, African history, a lot of the non-American points of history I really do take a lot of interest in, because it's not as confrontational, at least in the United States.
Yeah, that's a fair point. It's like what about presidents? How are you on U.S. presidents?
I do know a lot of the presidents. I couldn't name you them all in order. I probably know snippets of most of the presidents. If we're looking into like post-Civil War, pre-Woodrow Wilson, that's sort of my weak point.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough.
Because we did have a lot of presidents in the late 19th century who were kind of just there. We had a lot of presidents who, I'm sure you've heard the term laissez-faire.
Yes.
Like they were sort of just like there to do whatever, the stock market or the factory owners said. So kind of just like, little placeholders for them.
What about the local Staten Island history? I kind of dig the, I like looking at seeing where they wanted to build roadways. Obviously everyone knows where the Korean War was supposed to go, slice right through the island, right? Or
but then it was supposed to run through Blue Heron Park or something, and they stopped.
Yeah, like the Greenbelt, and be a connection point to another part of the Staten Island Expressway, where that overpass was by Petrides, right before you get to Petrides.
Right, they were building the meat, and then it just stopped.
And it's just stopped, and it just stuck there for a long time. Or how Father Capodanno originally, Father Cap Boulevard, was supposed to go down the entire east shore of Staten Island, and there was supposed to be no residential development, and everyone was up in arms about, well, hang on a second, now we don't have any beachfront property. If you do that, you're going to wipe out a lot of potential residential area. Or the one where they wanted to build a bridge from not like Page Avenue, but like Sharrett's, where Lemon Creek Park is, go to Jersey.
Really?
You ever see that? If you look,
really need on Staten Island is a causeway that runs right along the like Father Capping over there from Tottenville through. But all the nice houses are down there, and they'll never do it because they don't want to see. They want to see the ocean, not a causeway.
Exactly. Yeah, 100%.
The traffic that would relieve if, like, from Tottenville, you could hop in and get to the Verrazano from there.
Of course, yeah. I mean, Robert Moses had a lot of great ideas of how to best transport people and how to get people around, whether it was rail or roads. And I think, if you look back, what we could have done, what we maybe should have done. Oh, we shouldn't get a rich truck.
All right,
morning.
I didn't want to interrupt you, but here we go.
That's such a
Nicky,
perfect intro.
I miss you so much.
I miss you too,
How are
Christina.
you?
How's it been?
Good. How's everything?
It's going
You miss
good. Going
arguing
good.
with him?
I miss that even too. Of course I do. That was like that lit up my day. We didn't argue. We had debates.
So
Debating,
mine,
like-
I'd be in my office, and all I would hear is them two just debating all day. Like,
It keeps the head going.
but
It
then you
wasn't
don't
all
know,
day.
That's
Maybe
for sure.
maybe 20 minutes tops.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you
and
don't
it
know,
wasn't
like,
all day, but he definitely schooled me a couple times. I probably schooled him a couple times. Like we had educational discussions, like they were like, because we have two very like opposing mindsets, and it's interesting to hear the opposing side. Like I was never like, you're an idiot. I'm like, well, I
yes,
don't
you
really
are.
agree. Let's, talk this one out.
There was something
how's
I'd
it
be in
been?
my
Oh,
office,
wait.
and I'd be
You're
like,
not
what is going on?
Sorry, you're not interning or anything now, right? You're kind of just at a standstill.
Yeah, so right now I'm still
Ooh.
doing my online classes. I tried to get like a tutoring position, either at CSI or like an independent center, but
Yeah.
obviously not hiring right now. So
Wow.
I have to wait and see, what comes in the summer and the fall.
Yeah, that sucks.
And I did offer him his job back before I
know.
but he didn't want it. He likes to sleep till 11 o'clock.
Who doesn't?
I was
Like, how many
"Nick,
times am I going to come back to you now?
I was like,
I was
Nikki,
laughing.
before I post it, do you want to come back? And he's like, I'm good.
I was laughing when he wrote that status or comment, whatever. He's like, I just recently got like EOPs and all this shit out of my mind.
It really did dominate my
He's like,
everyday
I just
thoughts.
recently stopped thinking about this. I can't come back.
Moss, who's someone in your office that you can have healthy debates with, where you guys go back and forth, or if not have healthy debates, who do you go up against a lot in a conversation, or really get into it with?
Depends on the topic, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Let's say you're talking about, I don't know.
Okay, wait. Are there any liberals who work in your office?
There you go.
they all work for Tom and Co.
But Tom's not.
No, I mean, liberals. No, I'm going to say that probably most people here, from a political standpoint, are probably Republican Trump fans. So
Are you the only one with a
Damn
Trump
gold.
Pence card, or is that like a mandatory requirement for a Partners in Sound employee?
nope, we do not discriminate against what your beliefs are. We don't discriminate against anybody. It's just if you're not a registered Republican, you just get no work.
Nikki, you should go apply for a job, and when it denies you, you could own Partners in Sound.
Overthrow Partners in Sound.
You can do whatever you want. It's America.
Okay, so how about, I would say probably my guess, and you guys would know this more than I, Todd and Moss, I don't have a partner to deal with, so I get to make the decisions. But I'm assuming once you have partners, right, you have Mike, Todd, Moss has Mike and Anthony, and then other companies, other partners, that's got to be tough because you don't really, it's a marriage, right? You don't get to make the decision. You have to collectively make a decision, and I'm sure there's sometimes you disagree.
I mean, I could speak for our business. We are black, white, and gray. You hit the nail on the head that a partnership is like a marriage. I know I know my business partners as equally as well as I know my wife, right? So
Probably spend more time with them.
yeah, we do.
Now,
But the thing is, the key thing to a successful partnership is everybody knowing their role. And what do I mean by that? Is everyone needs to stay in their own lane. Small decisions are important to be made. But if you have to sit here and consult with your business partners on every little thing, I don't think it's efficient. I think everyone kind of has their, like, for instance, we could just dissect Partners in Sound a little bit. I am, quote unquote, I run the day-to-day operations. So, if somebody was to go to Anthony or Mike and say, hey, I want to raise, their rebuttal would be, okay, did you talk to Moss? Or he's not approachable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, at that point, it would warrant an opinion or a decision. But we don't play the mommy didn't give you what you wanted, so you're going to go to daddy card. That's the number one. Number two, everyone has their own division. Anthony handles corporate. I handle day-to-day ops and oversee the company. Mike predominantly handles weddings, and we kind of all jump in. But we also have contingencies, right? If, God forbid, I die tomorrow, my wife and children do not become partners with my partners. There's buy-sells in agreement in place.
Right.
I don't want to be, I love my partners' families as if they're my own. Their kids call me Uncle Moss, but I don't want to be partners with them. I don't know what they bring to the table, right? Maybe in 10, 20 years down the road, but like when Anthony was, diagnosed and, he was, I had to make a lot of the decisions, and I brought him up to speed afterwards. And, every decision I made, I think he kind of agreed with, but it's not normal to get along 24/7.
Of course, in a marriage, you can't. If there's no marriage, you get along 24/7. It's just
And
not how it is.
I'm very difficult. I'm very stubborn.
No, I don't think that at all. I think you're probably one of the easiest people to.
Definitely not. But I'm definitely black. Anthony's definitely white. Mike is definitely gray. And we have a unique partnership. We have different personalities. It's but it works. It works for us.
Right, and like the whole point is that there's pros and cons of anything, right? the pro with me is I don't answer to anybody. Yes, I like, and let's take that away. I do answer to my wife. She is my partner, but it's different, right? But I make decisions. I don't have to go. If I want to add a expense to my business, I just do it, and I have to answer to myself. But there's also the con that's it. I'm the only one making decisions. I never have anyone to rattle ideas off of, where Moss might think this is the greatest idea, and he sits down and talks to his two partners, and they go, all right, let's talk this through. And Moss goes, you know what? You're right. Thank you guys. That wasn't, you brought something to the table that I didn't think about. So,
money is a big problem in partnerships. I think a lot of people don't respect it. For instance, if I want to turn around and take an allowance for a company vehicle, okay? We don't just say, all right, Moss, all right, we're all going to expense our cars. Moss is going to get a Ferrari, Anthony's going to get a Kia, and Mike's going to get a Honda. No, guys, we're going to take a $500 a month allowance vehicle. If Moss wants to, expense $10,000 of his own personal stuff to the business, which is against the law, but I'm just saying it is, the business better be ready to write a $30,000 bonus check, because everything I do is times 3. And that's, I think, one of the reasons why our partnership has been successful. Maybe minute stuff, but on the major issues, we're all on the same page.
Right. And then I've seen businesses fail because, a client of mine had, for a restaurant, they had over 10 partners.
10 partners works.
Oh,
That seems unnecessary.
One person needs to be elected as the guy that makes the decision, and the other 9 are investors. If everybody wants to have an opinion, you're done.
But the problem is that one, everyone was an opinion.
Yeah,
and
that can't work.
And it was like you'd be there, and they'd be like,
a silent partner, put your money in and collect at the end of the month. Like,
put the cameras here, and then next thing you know, the other partner would come by. I don't want that there. Move the camera over here. And then you're putting the camera up, and the next partner walk by. Nah, over there. And you're like, oh my God, can someone make a decision?
And then the other partner comes in and goes, why are we buying cameras?
Yeah, we don't.
And they wonder why they don't last more than a year.
Well, eventually, what happened is all the other
market
got bought out, and it went down to what Moss said. It was like one real guy, and then a couple of investors who had no real say.
I mean, listen, a partnership is a marriage. You need to respect, but you also need to vent. There are times where, I have uncomfortable conversations with my partners, and I'll be like, I'm upset. This is bothering me. That's bothering me, and I have diarrhea of the mouth. If something's on my mind, I'm going to speak it. There's no secrets with me. I'm an open book. I'll show you, I'll tell you anything you want to know. I'll tell you,
So has there ever been a time where you were worried that the partnership was going to collapse? Has it ever gotten to the point where you were, this is ending, we need to end it, or you've managed to?
No, I don't think that's, I don't think in the, Anthony and I are partners since the late 90s. Mike came on board in 2003, 2004. Listen, don't get me wrong. We all have our moments, days where I'm like, you know what, guys, maybe I'm done. Maybe you guys should just figure it out and buy me out. And maybe Mike or maybe Anthony. And that's normal. There are days where you want to get divorced. There's days where you want to break up, right? So it kind of makes sense. I think the amount of pressure and stress that we are all under right now, being a multi-million-dollar business with hundreds of employees, we are being pushed to the limits. But there are days where I want to walk away. There's days that Anthony wants to walk away. There's days that Mike wants to walk away. And the nice thing about having a partnership is that if I'm having a bad day, 90% of the times Anthony and Mike are pretty level-headed, and they'll be like, boss, just go home, pour yourself a Macallan. We'll fucking figure this out tomorrow.
Right.
And that's the good thing of a partnership. But the bad thing of a partnership is that, when the bad thing of a partnership, in my opinion, is when there's number one, no trust, and that goes across the board. Number two, I think when there's no parameters, like I know my limitations.
Yeah, there needs to be boundaries in any relationship.
100%. I mean, I'm not going to turn around. I mean, for instance, there's no secret. We use Techie Geek for all of our, IT stuff. We just made a capital investment here of $13,000, Mike, between the computers and everything, 8,000, 10,000. I don't know what the number was, whatever. Probably not the best decision to make a month before Corona, but who the hell knew?
Right.
And, it was funny. I, saw the need. I did all the research. I went to my partners, and the question was, do we really need to do this? And I said, well, do we need to do this? No, we don't need to do anything. I think this is going to make our team more efficient. We have the capital. If we want to make a one lump payment, we have good credit. Mike was able to secure a finance company where instead of taking 10 grand out of the bank, we're going to pay $1,000 in interest. Let's keep the money in the bank. Me, I wanted to pay it off. Mike G wanted to pay it off. Anthony wanted to do a finance solution. Knowing right now, I'm glad we didn't take $10,000 out of the bank because that $10,000 is going to help us. So the $300 a month payment is no big deal. I mean, could I write the check tomorrow? Yeah. Was it going to affect my life? No. But you know what? If I didn't have a partner, that $10,000, that computers that are literally haven't been turned on, Mike, since you brought them here, the money's better in the bank right now with what's going on in the world. But that's the nice thing of a partnership.
Yeah.
I mean,
having those conversations.
Charge them to my Amex? Yeah. Would Anthony have been like, why didn't you finance him? Probably. Would we have argued about it? Maybe. Would we have got over it the next day? Yeah. I mean, it's not like I turned around and said I went to Vegas and I spent $10,000 on, strippers at a bar. I bought something we needed. But, there's always different ideas.
Right. And Tom says, Anchor partners need to bring something to the table that you don't. It's not money. And that's what, looking at you guys definitely all bring different aspects that are needed to your business, which is why it's successful and why you're around. What, this is 30 years or 35 years? We are entering our 30th year. We had massive plans for this year. Massive. I mean, money giveaways, huge company parties, which we do all the time, but massive, like try to get in touch with every single employee that's been here for 30 years that left on good or bad terms. I was planning a huge outdoor event to just thank everybody. We wanted to invite all of our clients over the last 30 years to come to like a family fun day. And now we're sitting in the house.
That's it. Yeah. Do you still want to do it? Can you that'd be really cool to do virtual. Time.
No, I'm not doing virtual time. There's no way. I can't.
I'm enough of that. No,
I'm for the virtual graduations. I'm for the virtual commencements. I'm for virtual meetings. If my business goes to weddings are now going to be me at my desk DJing while everyone's in their home on their computers. Mike, I'll come being a salesman with Christina for Techie Geek. I'll go into the union. I'll go to Local One. I'll do anything, but I'm not going to do virtual events where they're completely virtual. I think virtual part of it is there's going to be a need that we're going to need to broadcast every event we do. Yeah, that's coming. But if my business, if events goes 100% virtual, I'm out.
I ain't going to events that are virtual. I'll tell you right now. It's one thing to sit and watch people dance in your living room once in a blue moon, but to have that be the new way of doing shit, no thanks. I'll be on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think virtual events. Yeah, is not the way to go. No.
I always
told you, real person events.
And I always told you, Mas, I don't think virtual events are the future. I think they're a stopgap. No. There's no way.
Oh, right now, yeah. I mean, like I said, we're offering all the partners and sound clients.
Dave says if you're out, you have.
What?
Dave, what is going on there? Are you?
Weed
whacker.
Yeah, they're mowing the lawn and weed whacking.
Dave said if you're out, he's out. So that's loyalty.
Yeah, well, our guys are great. No, but it just listen. I think of someone like Dave being a video engineer here at Partners, being a tech guy here at Partners. His job is going to get harder. There is no doubt in my mind. Every event that we go to, there is going to need to be a video IT solution. And they're, I in a perfect world, I love them to hire, Gotham for every single one of them. But the truth of the matter is, from a monetary standpoint, people are not going to, they're
It's
not
an
going to.
additional expense.
It's going to be an additional expense. So it's going to be, to me, like we do robotic cameras at all of our events, right? We don't record. It's a pan tilt zoom. It's a 1080p camera. Our video techs control it for live stream to iMac to the plasma screens, well, LED flat screens we put up. Do I think that we're probably going to have to offer an option where, hey, do you want us to bring in our own video team to broadcast your event over the internet? Yeah. Do I think some people are going to be like, all right, I don't want to spend X amount of money. How do we do it more more efficiently? It might just be a Cat 5 from whatever the guys are PTZing, to a URL. I don't know. I think I'm talking a little bit out of, but
RTSP.
What?
I guess what's the RTSP, Todd? That's like the streaming platform where you stream and then different control systems will take it.
Yeah, I mean, it's all a matter of guys. I mean, in our technology, the technology that we use, we have the ability already. We use Blackmagics. We could stream to the internet already, but we just never want to get into that. 2 reasons. Number one, typically the venues that we work in probably don't have the right bandwidth.
That's most venues.
Okay. And number 2, when you videotape something or you broadcast it, you see all the imperfections. I'm sure Todd will agree with this. Post-production is huge. When you're doing something live and things go wrong,
you don't want right that time you were doing Michael's cause and you were getting the award, right? Now that'll be live with no sound. You going, where the fuck is this thing? And
I didn't curse. I was very professional. But
it always happens. No matter all the planning, everything, shit goes wrong, and that's it. What makes someone good when the shit goes wrong and they're able to conquer it, get through it, and make it like nothing happened before. And that's the difference between a professional and an amateur.
So it's funny you say that because I don't know if you guys ever saw the Dasher Class Platinum Entertainment Showcase. It is a 18-minute showcase, and it is video that has some live segments that the guys rehearse to. And the only guarantee we have is that technology will fail us. So there we are. The MOV file is playing. Everything is fine. And all of a sudden, boom, the wheel of death comes up on the Mac. And guys like Dave will automatically cut to a logo because we're prepared for this. And now you hear a guy that's rehearsed to do a bridal introduction. And let's hear it for the parents of the bride. And the parents of the bride come through the video screen. That now our team will be like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I said we're going to change it up a little bit tonight. We always use the video screens. We're going to do it live. How many moms and dads do we have in the crowd? Let's hear it for all the moms and dads. Put your hands together. How many bridesmaids and groomsmen and ushers? Nah, the groommen aren't here. They're at the bar with the groom. How many bridesmaids? I've seen our men literally turn a debacle of a showcase into some of our best performances because it's off the cuff now. So that's what separates the men from the boys.
And it's true. It goes the same way down to IT, down to hanging a TV, right? There's been times where we've been on a job site and you run into an issue. And I've heard stories, I'm not, of major companies who do TV installs, like corporate companies, where they came and they knock on the wall and they go, oh, this isn't a wood stud, we can't install it. And after they cut holes and they walk out. We've been on job sites where people there's no way, like, Jimmy's like, oh, we're not going to get a TV on this wall. And you're like, let's figure it out. We'll figure out the problem. What's going on? What's here? And that's what makes the difference between the professionals. And when you sit there and all of a sudden it's done and it looks perfect, like you don't even realize you hit a snag. And that's truly what makes the difference between amateur and professionals. And, sure. and that's what keeps us ticking, right? The more and more I hear of different companies, oh, we bought an IT company. We're now an IT company. You know what I'm talking about, Todd. So the more and more everyone thinks they could do IT, right? I don't do printers because I leave the printers to the professional. Leave the IT to the professional. But sure. everyone wants to do everything.
Very true. Yeah.
I 150% agree. The smartest people and the most successful people in my industry know their limitations and they surround themselves with great people. Mike, I think you've even been on some of our major corporate events. Mike, I need an IT guy. I'm billing the client. I can't be worried about, IT issues. Give me a guy for the day. Did we wind up taking you one day or one of your team members?
No, we spoke about it, but you guys needed stuff where venues needed internet, and we've came out and helped and, gave quotes and all different stuff. So you get it, right? Yeah. Is Dave smart enough that Dave could go and figure out and probably tell a venue, oh, this is what? But you guys get it. Don't tell Dave short. All right, well, we got 20 minutes left. And we'll get back to this discussion, but I want Nikki, tell us about your live stream. What time you're doing it? What are you talking about? Give us a little bit about what did you learn from us?
I did learn a lot. I did try to use Beat Live, but for the setup that I wanted, it wasn't really going to work because I wanted myself in like the bottom left corner and have a PowerPoint on the top. But I'll go back to and I'll just describe what I do. So every Wednesday at 12 p.m., I'm doing about an hour to like an hour and a half of This Week in History. So if you want to know how I got the idea, my girlfriend Liz bought me a book for Christmas titled This Day in History. And basically it just goes through every single day and highlights some minor events and some more major events. However, the book is a little, it's every day, so they can't really go too in depth with every event. So what I do now is I go through the past week and I pick out the history topics that I think could be interesting to talk about, and I kind of just expand on them a little bit, give them some context, and really the main point of this sort of presentation is to try to, everyone has their own experience with history in school. I'm sure a lot of people think it was very boring, not too interesting. So with what I'm trying to do with this presentation is sort of bring it out, make it sort of exciting. Not only just exciting, but, show that, even events that happened maybe 300, 400 years ago really do play an influence, maybe not in your daily life, but with how different cultures and different peoples intermingle, whether it's friendly relations now or sort of hostile relations. Everything does have a reason. So that's what I'm really trying to do with this presentation. I just started last week, so I think it went pretty well. I did have, a lot of feedback. People were asking questions in the comments. I couldn't answer all of them. So what I'm also trying to do is at the start of every video going forward, if there's a question that either I couldn't answer completely or I gave an answer that I wasn't satisfied with, I'll give, 5 to 10 minutes at the start just to sort of clear the air and, just give, my interpretation of what, the question should have answered. So
where are you broadcasting? Facebook, obviously, anywhere else?
Right now it's just on Facebook. That is where, during my time with Techie Geek, I made a lot of connections on there. So that is my most established social media. Instagram.
Where else you should probably stream to Twitch.
I don't know about Twitch because at least for now, if you're not like a mega Twitch star, really the only viewers you will get on that sort of stream are like Russian bots who are just filling up your view count. You're like, oh, I have 10, 15 viewers, no one's commenting, and then you look at the names and it's just gibberish. So
it's unfortunate. You don't want Russian bots watching you?
I don't think so. No.
Go ahead.
Have you incorporated? And I watched some of your the first show you did. I'll be totally honest. I did not watch the whole thing. Did you use any visual aids or anything? Did you use any photos or old school video or anything to highlight your points or
yeah?
Anything
So
like plans
yes.
to?
So the main setup that I wanted myself in the bottom left, and then I had a PowerPoint that I make every week to go along with it. With Be Live, that wasn't really working, but I found out with OBS. Do you know what OBS is?
Yeah.
Yeah. So with OBS, there's a Facebook Live option, so you can set up the cameras basically however you want, and I was able to get the setup that I wanted. So right now, I have the PowerPoint. There's really not a lot of information on the PowerPoint, and I think that's a good thing because I think part of the reason why history may be boring, especially in school, is because the teacher will either read straight from the textbook or just read straight off the PowerPoint. They'll just, throw all the information on the PowerPoint and just say, copy it down and learn it. I don't think that's a good way to learn anything, especially history. So really the PowerPoint is just a visual aid to go along with it. If it's a recent event, I'll have a picture on there. If it's something more significant, like I spoke about Muhammad Ali refusing to go to Vietnam, I felt, a video on that would have been more powerful than me, just reading his statement on why he didn't go. So I played a video with that.
Cool.
But really, the PowerPoint is just a visual aid to go along with.
So
I
watched about 10 minutes and 10, 15 minutes. And I'm going to give you, that's a good thing because in history class, I would have fell asleep probably 2 minutes in. So we're good. If I give you 2 tips, I think your box is too small. We want to see you. We don't need to see just the PowerPoint presentation. I think people want to see you. And number 2, I think you should dress up each episode as someone you're talking about.
So if I do a slideshow on Joseph Stalin, I'm going to get my Soviet leader outfit.
I think that will help you get viral. If you're teaching history dressed as these people, it'll give a reason for people to watch you, right? And then
I tell you what, Mike Bloomfield, you're freaking idea man. That's a good one,
right? And then just imagine, like, if he became a teacher. When he becomes a teacher, you could do that in school. Like, you could be known as the fun teacher that is walking around as Hitler.
Hold on. You had me, and now I gotta stop you.
Hold on.
Look, I'm out. And even Tom Banner says it'll make him watch.
I don't think he commented
Tom
that.
Yeah, he did. Look, Mike's like a big. I like that. It will make me watch.
Tom Bannis is the most involved in all these Facebook Lives. He's all on board.
You might
he
even
knows
keep
OBS.
Massimo engaged if you were dressed as the character. I think he's fully asleep. Did he actually fall asleep this time?
No, I think he's on his phone.
Oh, I see the head bobbing a little bit. He's still there.
He's there. He's on his phone. It's a busy day.
I will wear the Hitler video. What?
Unfortunately, I do need to be hired as a teacher and then keep that job. I'm sure dressing up as Hitler will not help.
If you ever become a politician, will you dress up in blackface?
No.
Oh, Jesus, Mike.
No, I'm just trying to say he's trying to become a politician.
It's funny because when I was discussing this idea with my friends, the one thing I requested of them is to not comment things like that on the live stream because I know it's something they would really want to do, but I just can't allow them to do that.
So Mike
forgot to talk to me.
Mike is full of great ideas, but he also likes to stir the pot. So I mean, there is no bad press. Well, I mean, if he shows up to class in blackface or and then the next day shows up as Hitler, pretty sure that's bad press, and that's not good for anybody.
So we can take those off the table. But I think if he engaged a little and did dress up as maybe it'd be fun. It'd be something different. And you were really in the corner. Like, you're really small. People are not there to see your slideshow. They're there to see you. Keep the slideshow small. And if you want, have a link to Google Slides where people could go and if they want to see a full screen on their computer, they could click and open. But you should be the people that are coming to watch.
I disagree a little bit with that. I think there should be a good balance. I think
this coming from the rolling guy.
Right. And I think from a broadcast perspective, when there's certain points that Nick wants to make emphatically, you want to see him and you want to hear from him. Agreed 100% because he is the authority or he is learning or he wants to share and he's passionate about something. But I think the visual aids going full screen, and this is why I do full screens a lot with people or like today when we interviewed Kathy Del Priore was watching, green screen the facts around you. You could do that. I mean, I think there's just visual ways. It just keeps you engaged and keeps you looking and reading. And like you said, you watch for 10, 15 minutes. Normally you'd be falling asleep after 90 seconds. So I think there's a balance, Nick, from my opinion. And I agree a little bit with Mike. They do want to see you when you're providing great insight that we might not know because we know you're the authority. But along the way, I think it helps to have a roll-in, a full screen graphic, or a little PowerPoint slide. And sometimes go full screen to you when you're explaining something that you find important.
So what I really wanted with the setup I couldn't achieve because I don't have a green screen. Mostly I would just want to get rid of, all of this. But in OBS, in order to do that, you really need a solid color background. So I couldn't do that. Maybe I think that's why I didn't make myself as big as I wanted. But I think
Well,
for now, at
green
least
screens on
increasing the
Amazon.
size of the camera would be a good, next
Yeah, I
step.
think Mike's right. I know he's getting one. Getting yourself a green
mine
screen
was
behind
supposed to
you.
be here a week and a half ago. I emailed the company again yesterday and said, please, can you just resend me a new one? It's clearly lost in the mail. Like, I really need this. And I started looking at other green screen options yesterday because the one I'm getting actually attaches to the chair and just gives you a green screen right around you, so I don't have to put anything up, which is cool, but they're the only ones that sell that. I was looking for like a green screen they just throw behind me because now I got the lights, I got everything set up. I have on Thursday arms coming for my mic to be up high. The webcam's going to be on an arm so I can move it up and down rather than it's on like right now like a tripod type thing that you have to bend. So after the broadcast I have to unclip it and move it out of the way. But I would love a green screen because I want to put Moss's house behind me.
Right.
After dark. But yeah, and now you're broadcasting where at your personal Facebook page, or did you make a page?
So for right now, it's just on my personal Facebook. It's going to be every Wednesday, 12 p.m. I was thinking of making the videos a bit shorter, but at least in my head, I'm doing it for practice, so it doesn't hurt. That is, it's an hour and a half. So yeah, I think right now that's a good, especially if I'm covering, a week in history. If I was doing it daily, maybe it would be, 10, 15-minute videos. But I think right now, once a week gives me a good time to practice, laying out sort of what is important, what I can sort of glance over a little bit, and what I can omit. So I think having this set up right now is pretty good. It definitely gives me a lot of practice.
What are you going to do when I take my webcam back?
I don't know. The webcam market
Nikki's whole show is based on me taking my webcam back or not.
Wow.
It really is.
I actually took it from him the other day for a day. Were you happy I had it returned to you that day?
You didn't have to get it back to me that day, but I do appreciate it.
I had a client that needed a webcam, and I ordered a bunch of webcams, and they haven't arrived yet. And he's like, I need this right away. I was like, Nikki, we're stealing your webcam. And we took it in the morning and had it back to him by the early evening, right? 4 o'clock.
What a guy.
And what a guy. And I told him he could use that as much as he needs it.
Mike, don't mean to cut you off. I have to head out,
please.
going to, unfortunately, a funeral in my car. We're all lining up our cars. It's going to be like 15, 20
for
cars.
The one the other day? The mother?
So our friend's mom, who unexpectedly passed, which was a shock to everyone, non-COVID related. But that's where Grass and I are going right now. But Nick, really good to see you, man. Congrats. I'll definitely tune in next time. Good luck to you. And
when is it, Nick?
Have fun.
Wednesday at 12. Thank you, Todd.
See you, Todd.
Yeah, Wednesday at 12. All right, Christina. Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye, Mike.
I feel like funerals in the car are not the best idea. What happens when you start crying? Do you just crash into everyone?
Oh my God, Mike.
No, like think about it. You're like people like break down, right? You're hysterical. How do you continue driving? Like that's a real
you pull
concern.
over, you don't continue driving.
Okay. I'm just saying.
Who could have thought of that option?
Who would have thought of it? Where'd Moss go? He disappeared on us.
Yeah, he left.
And his camera. I have a great rolling I've been working on for the midday show. Working on something for the Bloomy show. Would you like me to make you an intro, Nick?
You don't have to go that far. It's okay. Keep it simple for now.
Keep it simple. I think we gotta get intros. Do you see any of our intros? You don't watch? Like we do a 2 o'clock on Fridays. We do a end the week with the geek. This is my rolling I made for that. Apparently, I'm bored.
I like that one.
Smooth.
I like that one. I'm working on a breakfast with Bloomy one that I think we'll like. I have to render it after we're done. I'm about 80% of the way done with it.
Are you making these? Are you making these yourself, or is this Design Pickle?
No, these are Envato elements, so they're After Effects templates, and then I have to throw all the images, video, coloring. Like this, you get a template, so like the concept is there, but you have to then go and overlay the images and the video and whatever, the text and all that. Design Pickle does not do video, unfortunately, but Envato Elements has tons of stuff. And I signed up. It's like $16 a month. So nothing. I've already gotten probably hundreds of dollars worth of templates that I would have normally had to pay for. We made the STK one. Did you see the STK video I made over the weekend? That was a cool one.
I have not.
I like that song it plays. It's like a movie. Monster's back. Oh, Tom, send me over your intro material. I'll make you an intro. So, Mas.
No, sorry. Someone was banging at the door.
Banging? You really do have to get like a Ring doorbell.
Yeah.
We have one. It's battery operated. There was no way to get power there. So,
and what is the battery die and you don't change it?
Yeah, battery dies, so on and so forth. It is what it is.
I'm trying to think. Your front of your building stucco, right?
Yeah.
That's the problem. You could do like a PVC pipe, but I think it doesn't look nice.
Not doing a PVC pipe.
You could do a what you could do, if anything, is a Ring stick-up cam with a solar panel. It won't be a doorbell, but you would get motion alerts, or at least the ability to, if someone's banging, you could then view, and you still can talk to them over it. They just would be able to, ring it, and it be solar panel, so charge itself.
Yeah, hopefully we go back to work so that my door can stay open.
Oh, that's true. You have a receptionist that sits right there normally, don't you?
I hate the word receptionist. I client relations specialist.
Right. She does a lot more than just answer your door. Yeah. So client. I like that, and she does a lot more. She does. I know that. Put the solar one on. Yeah. See, doorbell now has solar. The Ring does. I don't think it does. It might be new. I haven't even seen that. All right. So we got Wednesday at 12. Nick, your show right now. It's facebook.com/nick.couteau. I did put it in the comments so people could find it. What are your topics this week?
Let me see. We got, what do we have? We have George Washington taking the oath of office. We got Watergate. Maybe we had a little bit on Watergate. We have a lot of people don't know about this event, the Haymarket riot. So just to give you like a 2-minute history of that, I'm not going to take over the stream. So we didn't get 8-hour workdays until the late 1800s. Part of that process was seen in this Haymarket riot in Chicago. A couple of anarchists, socialists, union workers were in Chicago for a rally to try to implement this 8-hour workday. Police were called in. There was some scuffling, and then out of nowhere, an anarchist actually threw a bomb, killed a few police officers, and then the police officers killed a few of the unionists. So that was a major event of sort of the social tensions in the U.S. during the late 19th century, and eventually the 8-hour workday would be introduced a few years later. Not because of the event, but the event was sort of a boiling catalyst point. Yeah. So, yeah.
I want to go. Apparently, some of us want to go to the work schedule like they have in Europe, right? Like Spain, where you come into work, go home in the middle. Italy has that too, Mas.
Yeah, they do a siesta.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the usual beginning of a workday and the end of a workday, though?
They go in like 8, 9 o'clock. They leave between 12 and 1. They shut down to like 3, 4, and then they go back and they work till like 7.
So it kind of like, you think you would like that better than kind of, you're like me, right? I'd rather just get it over.
Yeah.
I come here. I don't want to move for any reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm that way. I like, as much as that'd be cool to go home and take a nap, have a nice lunch, I rather just.
That seems like something that could have worked in like the 50s, like not 2020 necessarily, like.
Yeah, the 50s is so cool.
Yeah.
Like, there's a movie called Look at Nikki's like, there's something.
Yeah, if you were a certain race, maybe it was kind of cool.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So some of the concepts of the 50s are very cool. Not all of it. Yes, I agree with you. But like the movie, like the 13th Floor, if you've never seen that, that is a great movie. That kind of is a rip on the Matrix. However, it takes place like the computer simulation is back in the 50s, and or it might even be early. It might be the 30s. It's so cool, like to see them and everyone's in the top hats and the suits.
Yeah, the fashion was definitely cool back then.
Right, but except as it looks cool. Like I would never want that, right? Because they didn't allow T-shirts, right? In the 50s, like you went to work in a suit, like no matter what you did, you're probably an electrician in a suit.
Proper.
Yeah, used to remember when you used to fly on an airplane, you had to dress up when.
Yeah, it was a class thing. That was big back then. You know, you had to look the part.
Now people fly on airplanes in pajamas.
Yeah, right. And that's when you're rich, is when you fly in the pajamas.
Nick, Tom wants to know: do you touch on racial events?
Yes, I do. Also, this week, in 1963, one of the police chiefs in the South, Bull Connor, he turned the fire hoses on a bunch of peaceful civil rights protesters. So that's going to be a very sensitive topic that I'm going to discuss this week. But yeah, racial events, especially during the civil rights movement, as well as, the Civil War, and even up until this day, those events will definitely have to be touched on because, there are certain events in history that are very ugly, especially from an American perspective. Maybe it's easier for us to talk about events in other parts of the world that are ugly than to talk about our own, internal issues. But those are definitely events that, we have to touch on.
People talking about it.
Yeah, we have to talk about them. We have to discuss them. And it doesn't matter if it happened 150 years ago or last week. These conversations still need to happen, even though they may be difficult for some people.
Right. You have to learn from history. History is there to teach us a lesson.
Or repeat itself if it doesn't.
All right. On that note, thank you, Nick, for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I just
want to say, Nick, I am very proud of you for pursuing this and taking the initiative to make this show and do that thing. It's really cool. I'm very happy for you.
Considering Nick used to not say a word, see, we helped him a little bit.
Oh no, he's
Moss, 3:00 midday with Moss. We have a Jerry P. Jr. Right, Jerry Amorosi Jr. from Gerald Peters will be on. Oh, we got Cinco de Mayo, Love Earth.
So for those of us, and I know Tom Bannis is plant-based, we have an amazing Cinco de Mayo vegan-friendly mojito bean and plantain salsa, guacamole and chips, quesadillas made with jackfruit, peppers, onions, cheese, and sour cream. To be honest, guys, if we didn't tell you it was plant-based, you would probably not even realize that it's not real meat. So if someone wants something different today, reach out to us at Love Earth.
Will you be eating one on the midday show?
I could go there and grab some and bring it in if you guys want.
You should broadcast from there. You want an interview, so you don't want to be interrupted.
Yeah, it's not fair to Jerry and Gerald and Peter. But if anybody wants a cool option, I'll put it in the
very
feed.
cool. Nick will be eating Moe's, which is the worst.
I had Moe's yesterday.
I saw my mom comment very earlier saying, "Forget that." So I don't know what we're doing.
Oh, is that what she wrote? Forget that your mom wrote?
I can only assume that. So,
hey Tom Bannis, if you want, text Girardi. He'll make sure. But we have a delivery guy on. I know you live on the other side of the island, so I hate to say it, but take care of him, or maybe just sort of double just to make it to lose the guy for probably take him an hour to get back and forth. But text Girardi, Tom. He'll take care of it for you.
Oh, can I just say something that I thought was funny? I got Moe's yesterday by VG, the one in Village Greens, which is a 5-minute ride from my house. Village Greens, I just said by my house.
I've never heard it called VG.
Yeah, because she's a mature girl, and I know.
Anyway, point being, my Uber Eats driver was on a bicycle from Arthur Kill and Giffords Lane, drove a bicycle down Arthur Kill Road, up Arden Avenue to Moe's to deliver to my house. I couldn't believe I saw that, on a bicycle.
Really? On a bicycle?
From Giffords and Arthur Kill.
That is crazy. Now, did you see that bikes are the new toilet paper? Apparently, you can't buy bikes anywhere.
I didn't know that. Well,
yeah, there's pictures now of all the bike aisles in all different stores sold out. And people saying did people not know bikes existed before the pandemic. So apparently people have all went out and are now buying bikes. Cars and gas are still here, people. We don't have to now
I
panic.
think it's more of an exercise thing, Mike. I think it's
And a boredom thing, yeah.
You think so?
Just get out.
I think it's probably
Everyone
a
knows
mix.
how to ride a bike. So
People have time now. Like, oh, when else am I going to ride a bike in my life?
Awesome. All right. Well, we're going to end the show. Thank you, Nick, for coming. And we
Bye,
will
y'all.
see everyone 3 o'clock, midday with Moss.